believers are going to cross over the bridge, and once they cross over the bridge, now we get to the final, actual final stage before entering Jannah. And it is the final stage of the Day of Judgment for the believers. Of course, the Day of Judgment has already finished for the munafiq and for the fasiq and for the called the Qantarah. The Qantarah. What is the Qantarah? The Qantarah is, in the Arabic language, the Qantarah is a small semicircular bridge, generally speaking. In the good old days, like they had castles and moats and whatnot. So the bridge that covers a moat, the small little bridge that goes the U shape, that's called Qantarah in Arabic. And it also implies a small area at the ends of the bridge as well. That's also called Qantarah. Okay, so that's the Arabic word Qantarah. And there will be a location called the Qantarah that the believers are going to be stopped at right before entering Jannah. So the Qantarah, therefore, is after the Sirat and before the actual gates of Jannah. Who gets to the Qantarah? Only the mu'minun who are getting into Jannah. Once you've gotten to the Qantarah, you are not going to be dragged back into Jahannam. Okay? This is another misconception some students of knowledge have, but the hadith is very clear, as I'm going to mention now. Jayyid. So what is the hadith? The Qantarah is not mentioned in the Quran directly. It is mentioned in the hadith, an authentic hadith. And of them is the hadith in Sahih Muslim that the Prophet ﷺ said, يَخْلُصُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ مِنَ النَّارِ فَيُحْبَسُونَ عَلَى قَنْطَرَةٍ بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ. So, the believers shall be saved from the fire of hell, and they shall then be stopped or paused at a qantara that is between heaven and hell. What is the purpose of this pausing here? So the Prophet said, فَيُقَصُّ لِبَعْضِهِمْ مِنْ بَعْضٍ مَظَالِمَ كَانَتْ بَيْنَهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا حَتَّى إِذَا هُذِّبُوا وَنُقُّوا أُذِنَ لَهُمْ فِي دُخُولِ الْجَنَّةِ فَوَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ لَأَحَدُهُمْ أَهْدَى بِمَنْزِلِهِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ مِنْهُ بِمَنْزِلِهِ كَانَ فِي الدُّنْيا. So the believers are going to be paused at a qantara between heaven and hell. What's going to happen then? Qisas between the people of the qantara. Qisas between the people that are going to enter Jannah. Happen to them in this world. Mazalim. Any issues that happen to them in this world, then when they have been cleansed and they have been purified, then they shall be allowed to enter Jannah. Okay? So the purpose of the qantara is the grudges and the problems and the disputes and the unresolved issues of this world between two believers. They're both entering Jannah, but there's unresolved disputes. That is going to be resolved in the qantara. What will be the currency? The same thing as on the Day of Judgment, and that is the good deeds now. Okay? In this case, there is not going to be the bad deeds to go to Jahannam because you have now passed. As the Prophet said, once they have crossed over Jahannam. So this is not to that level. Again, I hope you understand this point here. So what we can derive is that at the qantara, what will happen is the finer details of Jannah. For example, somebody deserved, the level, such and such a level, but they did wrong to another. So certain perks and privileges that they had shall now be given to the one that they wronged. Okay? Whatever blessing Allah had given, the package that Allah had given a person, from that package, things will be taken out and handed over to the one that they did wrong. Now, dear Muslims, do you want something to be taken out of the prize Allah has given you because of a mistake you did? Do you want some eternal blessing that Allah has promised you? Allah is telling you, you earned all of this. I'm giving you all of this. You're jumping for joy. Then you are told, but you hurt somebody's feelings. You backbited. You did this and that. I have to take this out and give it to that person. Would you like that? We got into Jannah at this stage, alhamdulillah, but would you like an eternal blessing to be taken away and given because of your own foolishness and mistake and arrogance? And that is why our Prophet ﷺ said that make sure you resolve your problems between yourselves in this dunya before the akhirah. That's why he said it. You don't want that to happen. And therefore, in this world, try to have as pure of a heart as possible. Forgive as much as you can those who wronged you, and overlook and do what you can to yourself. Even if somebody wrongs you and you expect your reward from the akhirah, you make sure you don't wrong them back. Because you don't want to, on that day, have to give up your perks and privileges to somebody else. And so the Qantarah, it demonstrates for us the infinite mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.